G'day guys, welcome back. Yeah, so I actually thought the Queenslanders was gonna have a terrible week after the most ridiculous loss in the history of the State of Origin on Wednesday. I thought the Duras was gonna make a big statement and pull out an upset, but boy, did the boys from Fiji try their best, and boy, do they fall into the trap of kicking penalty goals. Like I've been preaching and warning everybody about. They forgot to watch the State of Origin. That's what happened. That's what happened. The Fijian Druas forgot to watch State of Origin and tried to take a penalty. And there was like maybe like a 10-minute period in the second half. The Druas look like one of the most unbelievable teams in all of Super Rugby. There was Mata Eli scored like what 3 tries, and there was like some just absolute crazy kicking game going on. And then Mata Eli scored like a 3rd try, and he looked like Juras was gonna just steamroll the Reds in the second half. And only for the Juras to lose confidence in themselves a little bit, and went for a penalty goal pretty far out. And I mean, I didn't think they were gonna do that from that position. It was pretty far out, like 40 meters near the sideline. And we know that if this was Armstrong, Ravola probably would have got it. But this was Kemu Valatini, and his kicking isn't quite the same level as Armstrong Ravola. What his name is. So yeah, missed it. Didn't even get the 3 points, but relinquished all the momentum after that, and also almost like gave the Reds a chance to calm themselves down a little bit. The Reds was just like, flustered and frustrated and making silly mistakes, giving away penalties, come out of the second half. And that penalty really gave the Reds a chance to regather themselves and regain the momentum. And with a bit of hunger in their stomach, they fought back and, just absolutely destroy the Fijians. 45 points to 24. When they were down before that kick, what was it? It was 21 points to 24. Yeah, so they were down before the kick, only to go to completely wrestle the momentum back and never made the same mistake the Fijians did. Or I guess same mistakes as the Maroons did against the Blues on Wednesday. This was a interesting game plan for the Fijian Juras as well. Two interesting things, right? So let's go back to the penalty a little bit. One of the reasons I could understand why the Juras went for the penalties is because for the whole season, that has worked for them. Especially in Fiji, when everybody is tired, you want to get as much time to breathe as you can, and points comes really rare in a greasy, slippery condition. Lots of mistakes, lots of handling errors, and then if you get 3 points on the board, a lot of times, in fact, a lot of the games that the Fijians won was because a few of those, and suddenly, they're looking, the opposition is unable to convert any of their momentum into actual scoring because of the slippery and greasy conditions, and they were able to win a number of games as a result of that. But that just doesn't quite work with a dry deck, especially in a place like Suncorp, where the home team is just really motivated and wanting to get themselves a win, and especially potentially climbing up a spot in the ladder, heading into the finals. But yeah, it is one of the things that the fact that the Fijians hasn't pushed themselves to consistently striving to score tries. They try to do that this game. They try to push themselves and consistently apply pressure and push those tries. They did that in the first half, and they did that for the first 10 minutes in the second half. But just like I said last week, I think the fitness was just not there. The fitness was not quite there to do it for the full 80 minutes, right? Because you can't do that unless you've been doing that for the whole season, unless everybody's been conditioned to play 80 minutes of attacking rugby, right? Attacking rugby, unless you prepare, have you been doing that for the whole season, it's just not gonna work out for you in the last game. And you can see the fatigue becoming a much bigger issue for the Juras towards the tail end of this game. The players were tired, missing tackles. Everybody's just tackling too high. Just even times where you didn't think that there should have been a line break, and the Reds was making line breaks, and Reds could sense this and lift the tempo even further just to put the Fijians under even more pressure in that fatigue. And here's the thing, right? So was the penalty a good decision? Well, I think it's not too bad. I mean, in my opinion, it follows suit to what the Fijians has been doing the whole season. I think the problem is not the fact that they made the goal kick. I think the problem is they haven't been pushing out of this goal kicking strategy for the entire season, and now they're trying to do it at the end of the season. It's just not good. It's just not working because they haven't been building for it. I think that is fundamentally the problem, not the fact that they've taken a kick in a position that probably shouldn't be taking the kick. But I do think that the fatigue, the fitness, is glaringly an issue for the Fijians. Now, here's another thing I kind of want to kind of questioning, right? Why is this a fitness issue for the Fijians? You know, we've got Fijians playing in Australia, we've got Fijians playing in New Zealand. None of them have fitness issues. You know, we got Uru and Dalgunu. They're all play almost the full game. No one seems, but somehow the Fijian Drua team, even the national team, has well known having fitness issues. Right? Is there some disciplinary stuff behind the scenes that players are not following their regimen, the prescribed nutrition diets? Is that one of the reasons that the players just not being disciplined enough? Or not being managed at all, right? Or is it because in Fiji it's too hot and the training isn't quite the level that you are required to actually condition the team to be fit? Like if the weather is constantly too hot, you can't train that much, right? And as a result, is that the reason why the team is not very fit? Because they simply don't have the ability to run, marathons or do crazy fitness sessions because of how hot the weather actually is in Fiji. And if that is the case, that's tough. I don't know how you're going to be able to fix that problem. If that's the case, maybe you have to start training at night or really, really early in the morning. You got to start training like 3 o'clock in the morning. Do like one of those, rock Dwayne Johnson training schedules. You hit the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that before it gets too hot. But yeah, it is a number of things that needs to be looked at. I mean, the Fijian Rugby sacked the head coach in the national team, and now they've let go of Glenn Jackson at the Dura. Maybe it's not the coaching's fault. Maybe there's something that's more a bigger problem here, and that's the weather and the condition. And if it is too hot, you're not gonna be able to spend an hour, doing high intensity interval training. That's just not gonna happen. And if you don't do that regularly, in your training session, you're never gonna be able to play 80 minutes without falling off in terms of fitness and speed and strength and mental focus as well, right? So I think there's a number of things that the Fijian, rugby union needs to have a look at, and perhaps the players needs to dial down on kava consumption and start training earlier in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody gotta get going, and trainings are done by 7, right? You start outdoors, do your fitness, do your high intensity stuff, and then you finish off indoors with your gym, all right, in air conditioning or what, right? And during the day and afternoon, maybe you have trainings at night as well. It could still be hot at night time. That's the sort of stuff you need to do if you really want to seriously contend and move up in Super Rugby and maybe potentially win a Super Rugby championship, because the players have the talent. The players are big, fast, some of the best athletes in rugby, right? But if you wanted to really move up for the Juras and for the national team, maybe these are the things that you need to consider, right? 4 a.m. training, and then we go from there. But it is hard. It is hard, right? If you have 4 a.m. in training and all of your games are played at 7 p.m., that's going to be a bit of an issue in terms of adjusting for your energy levels, right? And it's never going to be easy, but maybe you can look into that. Instead of playing at 7 p.m., you can play at lunchtime or something, or early afternoon or something. But then it gets to be really, really hot. But yeah, it is a bit of a problem there for the Juras to have to kind of solve. The Reds, what can I say? the set piece is looking good against the Duras. The line out was couple line out more tries. The post contact offloads are pretty good. The Carter Gordon, whilst not under pressure, especially in the second half when the Duras look a bit tired, look like a bit of a Superman out there. But when he was under pressure, he threw another intercept today. It's one of the things where, yeah, it's still plenty of work left for him to really put himself to the Wallabies jersey, in my opinion. And also just not able to kick goals. Yeah, it's always a little bit of a problem if you're fly half, you can't kick goals, and that has to be given to somebody else. It's just not ideal. But also that, I thought the Reds were pretty good. Pulled themselves back in the second half after an early onslaught on the Duras, and backed themselves and really problem solved the weaknesses of the Duras in the scrum. Got a try, walkover try from Wilson. Could have been a yellow card penalty try there. To be really frank with you, there was some pretty good post contact offloads and some really decent running rugby out of the Reds tonight as a result of that. So let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 7 tries to 4, 497 run meters to 494 to the Duras. 27 defenders beaten for both teams. 17 turnovers for the Reds, 16 for the Duras. So in terms of the running rugby, it's pretty similar on paper. The problem is the set piece. That's what really cost the Fijians tonight. It's the set piece that's really hurt them in terms of running, attacking rugby. On the stats, looks pretty similar there. Tackle 185 for the Reds, 27 missed tackles, 87 tackles for the Duras, 27 missed tackles as well. So here's the thing that you gotta understand. You might think that not only that this is a pretty bad percentage, 27 out of 87 tackles made. Not only that this is a bad completion rate, but if players are just getting run through without attempting a tackle at all, it's not considered a missed tackle. So there could be times when the Reds were just running through gaps or players just completely misses to even make a tackle or attempt a tackle. And you would actually, if you add those in, this stat will be a lot worse than what it seems on paper here. Yeah, so that's a hidden stat you don't get to see, and that's what really hurt the Duras in probably the last 20 minutes of the game. 23 kicks in play for the Reds, 19 for the Duras, 2 missed conversions out of 7, 2 missed conversions out of 4 for the Duras, 1 penalty miss as well. 491 kick meters for the Reds, 657 for the Duras. Duras actually kicked more meters. Is that actually right? Yeah, Duras actually kicked more meters there. We've got 2 lineouts lost against the Reds out of 15, 8 and 0 for the Duras. 1 scrum loss against the Reds. No scrum losses for the Duras, but I do think the Reds, especially when the Duras were tired, just like the week before, struggling in the scrums, struggling under all the set piece starting to fall apart. 6 penalties conceded for the Reds, 13 against the Fijian Drua, and no yellow cards for either teams. Let's do a quick summary of the game. So the Duras actually came out early with a try. This was a card. Like the Duras came out and the penalties given to them, not kicking 3 back themselves, which I was very excited to and good about. Good to see. Eventually, the Reds was trying to run out of their own half, and Carter Gordon threw an intercept to Mataele, who ran like 60 meters for a try. 5 points to 0. 27 minutes in, the Reds get a penalty, 1 for their winning for the try. Fezler, 7 points to 5. 29 minutes in the game. There was a line out, a nice little set piece play, midfield, some nice post contact offloads, and then Josh Fluke pops the ball to Filippo Dagonu, ran in for the try, 14 points to 5. 35 minutes is again another very similar play, just bunch of post contact offloads inside the 22. This one was Dagonu to Fluke, or is it the other way around? And then Fluke gets in for the try, 21 points to 5. 36 minutes again, just before halftime, the Dura had a penalty for themselves. They went for a 5-meter line out, piling in lots of pressure. The ball looked like it was lost and stolen by the Reds, and then Dura immediately stole it back, just piled in through that quick turnover for a bit of a messy try. 12 points to 24 halftime. Second half, 44 minutes in the game, the Duras really came out and really wanted to play. There was a weird little what do you call it? The ball was in the midfield. Mataele got the ball. This was 22 meters out, maybe. He saw a bunch of big boys in front of him, a couple of locks, and he just grubber kicked the ball behind, and the locks could not turn around and chase this fast enough. he ran through for the try. 21 points to 19. 48 minutes in the game. This was just like the craziest, probably one of the best tries I've seen all season. And the style that, we haven't seen at all out of the Juras, and I was hoping to, something that if they had worked on a bit more throughout the season would have been brilliant. So there was like kick down, kick down the right hand field. The Juras recovered lots of pressure this one and got the ball turned over. And then quickly the ball went to midfield and almost like a crossfield kick from midfield. Just two kicks, one down from the right hand side and one quickly spun midfield crossfield kick. And the Mataele caught this on the full, ran in for the try. Bit of a crazy. But there was a bit of it was two crazy kicks leading into a try, and Fijian was able to recover both of them. 33 points to 24, 69 minutes. The Juras, that was what is this? That was 21 points to 19. The Juras caught up. What happened to here? Is this 21 points to 24. So Juras actually pulled ahead after this crazy kick. 50 minutes. This is where everything fell apart for the Dura. Just the Reds were scrambling. They were just throwing penalties everywhere. Probably could have been a yellow card coming. There was a penalty 40 minutes out near the sideline, 50 meters in terms of kicking range. Juras decided to take the 3. They missed, and sure enough, after this, the Reds regained the momentum. The Reds had a penalty that went for the 5-meter scrum, and it was a pushover for Wilson. 28 points to 24. 60 minutes, another more pressure from the Reds piling in. Another penalty, 5-meter line out, another more try. Just like bang, bang immediately. Scoreboard ticked up to 33 points to 24. 69 minutes, the Juras was able to hold out a little bit before the really, really tired Fijian defense was broken through by Anderson. Two nice little offloads, and Uru ran in for the try. 40 points to 24. 78 minutes, there was another what do you call it? The Reds scores another try. There was a try that looked like it was held up, but the referee, it was held up, and then the Reds had a penalty. They went for the line out. They went for another more, and Asiata crashed in for the rolling more. Try time, 45 points to 24, and then just before full time, it looked like Fijian scored. The referee says nope. There was one of the players was taken out, leading the try, creating a gap for the run through. But it is difficult. I think there needs to be some fundamental changes in potentially the way that the Fijian Drua trains to actually maybe pick up the fitness problem that the Drua is having. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.